Hello, everyone. Today we are talking about goal setting that gets result. Because let's face it, having goals without getting results is like buying a car, putting it in the garage, and bumming rides off your friends and family or taking the bus. What is the point of buying a car and putting it in the garage if you're not going to drive it? That's what goal setting without results is. And today we're going to be talking about the SMART process, the SMART goal setting process, which are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals. Welcome to Sev Talks Money, or welcome back if you are a returning visitor. At this place, we talk about tools and tips to build wealth, crush your debt, and gain financial freedom. And we even talk about things that will help you build your business. So again, welcome or welcome back. And before I dive into the material, I want to greet those of you who are here visiting. Hi, hi, Debbie. Hi, Beverly. And hi, Scylla. Thank you for joining us. All right, so let's dive right in. So the SMART goal system, it helps us to clearly define the what, the why, the how, the when of our goal setting. If we don't have all of those things in place, more than likely we're not going to achieve our goals, because a year from now, we're still going to want to be achieving the goals that we said we're going to achieve this year. And 2 years from now, we're still going to say, I want to achieve certain things. But if we put things in place that are specific, measurable, attainable, SMAR, SMAR that are relevant and that are time bound, then we are more than likely to achieve those goals. Hi, Judy from Asian American Legal Focus. All right, so let's dive right into the information. And while I'm at it, I just want to remind you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So the first thing we want to talk about is the letter S from the mnemonic SMART, is the letter S. And what does it mean? It's specific. What action will I take? What am I trying to accomplish? If I say I want to save $50, okay, fine. You want to save $50. What does that mean? That's not specific enough. What action am I going to take? What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? Yes, I want to save $50, but what action am I going to take to achieve the $50? And then we move on to measurable. Yes, we're going to save $50, so we know it's measurable because it's $50. Okay, is it achievable? Is this something that I can do? That's where you ask yourself, can I make this goal? Can this goal be done? Do I have what it takes to make this goal? So I want to save $50. Yes, it's specific. It's measurable. It's $50. Now we come to, is it achievable? If I am bedridden with no ability to handle a computer or do anything, then that might not be an achievable goal for me. If I'm working, I can shift my bills around, my expenses around, and I'm able to save $50. Or I can go drive Uber Eats, drive Uber, drive Lyft, sell things on Poshmark, on Facebook Marketplace. These are things that I can do to make that saving $50 achievable. So if I have the resources and the skills and the support and the things that I need, then this goal now becomes achievable. The next part of it is it realistic? Can it be done? Yes, it is realistic. It can be done. The part I think where a lot of us mess up is, how does it align with my why? So we end up having all these goals and we're doing all these things, but they don't create a cohesive goal pattern, for lack of a better phrase. They don't create a cohesive overall goal, because we're doing all these things and they're great, but they don't align with our overall why. What is my overall why for my life? What is my overall why for my profession? What is my overall why for my business? What is my overall why for doing YouTube? What is my overall why for doing a podcast? If the things I'm doing doesn't align with my overall why, then more than likely I will end up not accomplishing that goal, because the passion for everything to come together to end up reaching that end goal is not there. I'm going to lose the passion because it's not aligning with my overall why. So let's go back to that example I used before. I want to save $50. Okay, it is specific, it is measurable, it is achievable, because I have different avenues that I can use to make that money. Does it align with my overall why? Yes, because I may be saving money to pay down my debt. I may be saving money for an emergency fund. I may be saving money for a car. So now it aligns with my overall why. And then the last thing is timely. Is it timely? Okay, so I want to save $50. I have all the resources at my fingertips. But if I don't set a deadline, then more than likely I won't do anything. I won't do anything to accomplish that goal. So let me show you what I did when I put that in place. So here's my SMART goal around that $50. I want to save $50 by December 31st by driving Uber Eats from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Saturday in December. Can you tell me in the comments if you don't think that that's an achievable goal? If somebody wants to save $50 by December 31st by driving for Uber Eats from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Saturday in December, now you have made your goal specific. You've made your goal measurable. It's attainable. You've identified the resource that you're going to use. It's realistic, and it's relevant to your overall goal, and it's time bound. So now you have to accomplish it. Now, let me tell you what happened to me before I started my podcast. I watched a webinar by Pat Flynn. And if you're not following Pat Flynn on Instagram and YouTube, you are missing a treat. And I'm going to say you're welcome, because you're going to thank me afterward. So please follow Pat Flynn on Instagram and YouTube. But when I got ready to start my podcast, I said I'm going to start a podcast. I did the layout, I did everything, but I never gave myself a time goal. Once I gave myself a time goal to my accountability group, Legacy Builders, I said, I'm going to do my podcast by October 28th. And once I did that, I got the podcast done. I want to say it took me less than an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get the podcast done, because I set myself a goal. It was specific, it was measurable, it was attainable, and it was realistic, but I did not set myself a time limit. And once I did that, then I was able to accomplish the goal. I want to talk about my doctorate. When I started my doctorate, I had a lot of things going on. I was very involved in my daughter's school. I was the treasurer for the drama club. I was very involved in my church, in a volunteer capacity. I taught children's church. I taught Sunday school. I taught Bible study sometimes. Every now and then I spoke on Sunday mornings. So I was quite involved. I had a full-time job, and at the time I was driving to work. So it wasn't like working from home where you had the relaxed time. And I had all those things. And one of the things that I did was I created a to-do list, and I taped it on the wall by my computer. And I just want to share 2 tips of things that I did when I was completing my doctorate, and how I was able to, and I also had a side gig also. I had a tax business on the side. So I was working full time at a tax business. I was volunteering at my church. I was very involved in my daughter's school. And I was also taking her back and forth to music lessons, to piano lessons, to tennis, and to all those things. I was doing all of those things, and I was trying to complete my doctorate. So I'm telling you this because I want to encourage somebody to let them know that it is very doable as long as you put a plan in place. So what I did is I created a to-do list and I taped it at the wall by my computer. And how I did that to-do list, I said for the week of, let's say, January 1st, the week of January 1st, this is what I want to accomplish. The week of January 8th, this is what I want to accomplish. The week of January 15th, this is what I want to accomplish. And when I broke it out that way, I did it in bite-sized pieces. I did not say in the week of January the 1st, I want to write 5,000 words, because that would be overwhelming. I may say in the week of January 1st, I want to read 5 articles on my dissertation topic. That made it more manageable, because I knew that by the second week, if I hadn't read 5, gave myself room to make up for the first week if I didn't complete all of those goals. So when you're creating your goals, you have to, again, going back to the example that I gave you, it has to be smart. It has to be achievable. It has to be specific. It has to be realistic. It has to be time bound. If I say I want to lose 100 pounds by December 31st, I'm just talking out of the side of my mouth. It's not realistic. It's not achievable. It's not, yes, I gave it a time bound, but it's not achievable. That's not something I can do. So when you're creating your goals, you have to make sure you create it in bite-sized pieces that keep you motivated. If you create a goal that makes it so out there that if you don't accomplish it, then you give up on everything else that follows to create that overall goal, then you're defeating the purpose and you're just setting yourself up for defeat. So you want to make sure you create a list, a to-do list, keep it in a place that's visible. You want to make sure it's visible because it's going to remind you of the things that you need to do. You have to create it in such a way, as I said, in that example, you have to create it in such a way that you are able to do the little things that lead to that overall goal. Now, another thing that I did is I set aside a day and time to review what I wanted to accomplish. Once a month, I would set aside a time and I would say, I want to look at the things that I want to accomplish for that month. And I would set the little pieces, and that helped me to stay on track. Was it perfect? No, there are times I missed the mark, but having that goal written out and in a prominent place helped me to get back on track. So I want to check the comments to see what some of the comments that are here. Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for joining us. And, so again, you have to make sure that you are setting your goals that are specific. They have to be specific. Just me saying, I want to save $1,000. Okay. When, how, where, why? Those questions, you have to ask those questions. The when, the where, the why, the how. That is how we're going to accomplish. Because if we don't have a driving, overarching goal or driving, overarching why for why we want to do what we want to do, then we're more than likely not going to achieve it. So I want to go back over the goals real quickly again. They have to be specific. That you have to ask yourself, what action am I taking? What am I trying to accomplish with this goal? It has to be measurable. If it's not measurable, then we're more than likely not going to accomplish it, because we need to have an end goal. We need to say, I want to drink this bottle of water and I need to drink it by 2:00. So when the bottle is empty at 2, I have accomplished my goal because it's measurable. It's something that I can see. It's measurable. I want to lose 10 pounds by January 31st. That is something that's specific. It's measurable. January 31st. Now I can put things in place to accomplish that goal by January 31st. Is it achievable? Yes, you can lose 10 pounds by January 31st. It is very, very achievable. Do you have the resources? Do you have the skills? Do you have the support? Those are things we have to ask ourselves when we put our goals together. Are they achievable? Are they attainable? Do I have what it takes to be able to make that goal. The next thing, it has to be realistic. Losing 100 pounds in 30 days, not realistic. Saving $50,000, not realistic for most of us. For most of us, not realistic. So we have to make sure they're bite-sized goals that will not discourage you and have you give up from attaining your goal. And then you have to make sure you set a time to those goals. If you don't set a time period to those goals, you're more than likely not going to accomplish it. And I shared with you that when I was doing my podcast, I shared with my legacy builders group, and I said, I'm going to do the podcast by October 28th. And sure enough, I did it. And Anchor is one of the easiest things. In under an hour, I had a podcast. Okay, because I was intimidated because I didn't do the upfront work, like making it specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, looking at all the whys and the what and the wheres and all of that. I didn't look at those things. I didn't ask myself those questions. Once I did and I put a time to it, I was able to accomplish it. Right now, I'm working a full-time job. I have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel, and I'm building my business. So my overarching goal is to create the trust factor for personal finance. So when I do YouTube, I'm building the trust factor by sharing my knowledge and bringing people on podcast. I'm the trust factor, and I have a specific goal for my podcast. For my podcast is to help women like me who encountered a life-changing event and need to pivot. So in my case, it was divorce. My finances were decimated. And so I was able to rebuild my finance, was able to come back to a six-figure positive net worth. And because I was able to do that, I want to be able to share the things that I did, and I want to bring guests on who have accomplished things. I had a guest recently who recovered from miscarriage. So I want to be able to share those kinds of things with women. And so my podcast is doing that. So I have a why, I have a what, and I have a how. I have all of those things in everything that I'm doing. All my goals are aligning. And again, it's not a perfect system, meaning that there are times I get off track. There are times when I do things that I have to, and that's the purpose of reevaluating. As I shared before on step number 2 is you have to set aside a time and day to review what you want to accomplish, because that will help you to reevaluate and see, okay, I'm doing this thing and it's a great thing, but does it fit into my life goal? Does it fit into my overall why? And if it doesn't, don't be afraid to delete it. Don't be afraid to delete it so you can get back on track. And Judy is saying here in the comment, she said, yep, I'm always hoping, I'm always hoping to lose a little bit of weight, right? So you have to make sure, Judy, that it's specific. Yeah, you want to lose weight, but that's not quite specific enough. How much weight do you want to lose? Then you got to put some numbers to it. Then now you've got to say, once you make it specific, is it measurable? Okay, and that's where the number come in. Is it attainable? Sure, you can change your eating habit. You can work out at the gym. You can, do all those things that makes it attainable. And then you want to say, is it realistic? Yes, it is very realistic. It's been done before, and there's no reason why you can't do it. And then you got to give yourself a time. I want to lose 10 pounds by January 31st, and I am going to do that by hiring a trainer and meet with my trainer every Monday and Wednesday. Now that is a smart goal, because you've now put things in place that makes it specific, measurable, attainable, time-bound. I have to try to remember the mnemonic in my head. Specific, measurable, attainable, and time-bound. You've put the things in place to do that. So making the goal, I want to lose a little bit of weight. Now, that's not going to be something that motivates you, because you have to quantify it. Right, I'm going to do an online exercise for at least 15 minutes a day. So anybody else want to kind of give a shot of a goal that you want to accomplish, and we can work on it to make it smart? Yes, you have to quantify it, and you have to say how you're going to achieve it. So it has to be, again, specific, measurable, Attainable, it has to be relevant or realistic, and it has to be time bound. So let me see. Anybody else in the chat want to drop one in? Okay, I don't see any in the chat. So I hope this was helpful to help you set your goal. Again, my motto is this: everything is possible with a plan. That's my life motto. Everything is possible with a plan. So if we can put a plan in place and we can set it so that it is bite-sized, it is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound, then there is nothing that can stop us from achieving the things that we want to achieve. So thank you for joining me here on Sev Talks Money. And I have linked the video for the giveaway, which starts next Sunday. I have linked that video in the discussion of this video. Please go and read the rules, and please come. Let's have some fun next Sunday. We're going to be celebrating my YouTube channel and my milestones on YouTube. And I'm going to also be celebrating my birthday, which is December 16th. So please go and read the rules and enter the contest. And Judy's saying here, thank you for this reminder. It's not enough to just have a general idea of what you want, but we all need to set specific plans and how we're going to get there exactly. Stephanie's saying, I want to become debt-free by December 2021. So now you have to put the details around that, Stephanie, is how you're going to do that. What are the things you're going to put in place to become debt-free? Are you going to have milestones throughout the year? I want to be debt-free. If I want to pay down $1,000 by December 2021, I want to pay down $50 in January, $100 in February, $200, or whatever the amounts are for each month of the year. You want to make sure that it's defined for the amount that you want to pay down for each year, and how you're going to do that. What are the vehicles that you're going to use to be able to pay down the debt to be debt-free by December 21? And is it achievable? Is it attainable? Yes, it is, because there are many people who have done it. So again, thank you guys for joining me. And again, don't forget to check out the video, the link in the video, this video, or just go on my channel and find the giveaway video. I want you guys to come back, and we're going to have a lot of fun on December 13th as we celebrate my birthday and celebrate you guys. I'm celebrating you because you are the one that's helped my YouTube grow as much as it has, and I want to celebrate you. So please come, and you never know what kind of additional prizes might show up. So come on over and let us celebrate together. So thank you guys again for joining me. And Stephanie said, I want to sell four homes to get me there. Very doable. Debbie is saying, I am trying to make a realistic schedule and not put too many goals into a specific time frame. Right, because what it does is it discourages you. If you have so many goals and so many things that you're trying to accomplish and you don't make them bite-sized, then you get discouraged and give up. A lot of people have given up on really great goals, really things that can make such an impact in the world, but they gave up because they tried to do too many things at the same time. So you want it to be realistic. You want it to be attainable. You want it to be bite-sized so that you can achieve it. And Sandy's saying, I love you. Love you too, lady. I love you too so much. All right. So thank you guys again. And, I missed this comment from Scylla. She said, I'm in the process of revamping my literary business, but first I have to create my outline of how I plan to do this. Yes. I mean, we all have great goals, and it is not difficult to accomplish, but we have to take the time. Let me tell you this trick. If you take 30 minutes one time and set out your goal, the SMART, specific, measurable, is it attainable? Is it realistic? Is it time bound? If you do that for 30 minutes, just one time for 30 minutes, all you need to do is spend a few minutes and revisit that going forward. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on what it is, because you may need to do some research. But if you just take the 30 minutes to an hour at the beginning and set that out, all you need to do is just revisit and refresh. And it doesn't take as much if you do that once per month. Maybe set aside a day and time for a few minutes just to see, am I on track? Do I need to revamp? Do I need to delete? Do I need to add anything in order to reach that overarching goal? Because again, everything we do, it should be intentional and leading to that overarching goal. And if it's not, then we need to get rid of it. So watching TV might not be part of the overarching goal. For a while, you may need to sacrifice not watching TV and to be able to get to what you need to get to. For a time, you may need to sacrifice not meeting up with your girlfriends just so you can do what you need to do. It's not going to be forever, but for a time, you may need to make that sacrifice in order to be able to achieve your overarching goal. Because for me, there are certain things that I've cut out of my life. I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV in 7 years unless I go to my mom's or I'm at the doctor's office or something, because there are certain things I need to accomplish. And now I don't miss it. So I would never buy another TV ever because I don't miss it. So again, thank you so much for everything that for showing up and for joining us. And Judy saying thanks, Dr. Sev. Hope everyone has a great week. And Silla is saying thank you for taking the time, making us accountable to think and focus. And I appreciate it. This is my passion, so I want to be able to share it with the world. Thank you, and I will see you next week at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on Sunday.